All right, to talk about this Game 7 victory by the Edmonton Oilers, here is our Director of Scouting, Craig Button. Craig, that was a wild one. And, you know, a 7-game series, these winner-take-all games, there are usually key moments in the game that kind of decide it. To you, Craig, what were the key moments in this one that won it for the Edmonton Oilers?
4-minute double minor. The Vancouver Canucks go on the power play, and the best penalty kill during these playoffs just stifle them. The only scoring chance during that 4-minute power play was by Connor Brown shorthanded. But the ability of the Edmonton Oilers to put pressure on, and it's one thing to put pressure on, but there was so much connectivity between the pressure and the next player stymieing them. Unbelievable penalty kill, and only Shelov's kept this from being a negative result for the Vancouver Canucks. Then the second key moment in this game, the second goal of the game. Fourth line shift. Connor Brown whips it around to Ekholm. Ekholm whips it around as Hyman comes off the bench. And then a really quick little play to Nugent Hopkins. Boom, into the net. Bouchard did not get this goal. It was credited to Zach Hyman. And you look at two key moments in the game. Chris Knoblauch trusting his fourth line to get out there and drive play and push the play. That second period long change gave the Edmonton Oilers a full advantage, and they took full advantage to score the second goal and seemingly take control of the game.
And Craig, after Vancouver won Game 5 to take a 3-2 series lead, it really felt like they had a chance to close it out on the road against Edmonton in Edmonton on Saturday night. And yet the Oilers come back, they win 6-7, they win the series. Craig, in your mind, in your eyes, what changed to allow the Oilers to come back and actually win this thing in 7?
November 13th, Jay, that's when it changed. That's when Chris Knoblauch stepped behind the bench and he said, we're going to be a good defensive team. We're going to be a defensive team that can suffocate opponents. We have enough offense to take advantage, but we're going to be strong defensively. So from November 13th on, that's exactly how this team played. And you don't just decide in Game 6 we're going to play good defense. You decide long before that, and then you play and you instill it and you become hardened in it. And that's exactly what the Edmonton Oilers have done under Chris Knoblauch. Outstanding defensive play everywhere on the ice. Here's Connor McDavid, third period, a shot block, getting into the right positions. So when I look at what the Edmonton Oilers were able to do, it happened long before Game 6, Jay. It happened when Chris Knoblauch took a hold of this team, instilled a strong defensive concept and a belief that they could win that way. You think about 32 shots against in the last 2 games. That's just over 5 shots a period for the Vancouver Canucks. To say they were stymied and suffocated would be an understatement. That's exactly what the Edmonton Oilers did to the Vancouver Canucks.
And Craig, it must be said, massive loss for the Canucks in Game 7, of course. Brock Besser, blood clotting issue, wasn't able to play. No question this affects this team. Elias Pettersson goes up to the top line with JT Miller, you know, hoping to fill the shoes of one of the best goal scorers in the playoffs. And that top line just was not able to get on the score sheet. Craig, your overall thoughts on Elias Pettersson's performance in this series?
Well, how about the whole playoffs, 13 games? He got his first inner slot shot and his only inner slot shot of the playoffs late in the third period, in the last 10 minutes of the third period. Simply put, it's simply not good enough. And you know, there's flashes of Elias Pettersson. Even in this game, there was some flashes of what he's capable of doing. What you need from Elias Pettersson, your top player, is you need consistent, determined, competitive play. It wasn't there, Jay. Simply put, it wasn't there. This is a playoff series, 13 games that Elias Pettersson isn't going to want to remember. And certainly we know how much skill he has. Certainly we know that he has the ability to change games. But for 13 games in the playoffs, I mean, we're talking about largely a failing grade for Elias Pettersson. His coach will defend him. His coach will say, like we know what we got there. And they know they have a really good player. But for 13 games of this playoff season, really, really poor by Elias Pettersson.
Craig, great job as usual. Hang tight. We're going to talk to Craig a little later about how he feels the Oilers will do against the Stars in the Western Conference Final and what he thinks the Canucks' off-season plans might be. That'll be a little later on this edition of SportsCenter.